Welcome, Fantasy Footballers Anonymous League. Coming at you here, episode 5. This episode, we have the playoff picture for you that I will paint and also discuss the nail biter and the beatdown of Week 9.
And I will be bringing you the consistency report, telling you some things that you may or may not know that have taken place here in the 2013 season.
Stay tuned and enjoy. FFA Episode 5, coming to you from God's paradise on earth, Bora Bora.
It's pretty beautiful out here.
Yes, it
today.
is.
You know, I gotta say one of the perks about being on this show, the director must have very deep pockets. He flies us to these locations all day, whenever we want. It's picking and choosing. So here we come to you live from the beach.
Multiple flights a day. Come join the show. Everybody's welcome. We want to hear everybody's
Come
voice.
one, come all.
As was mentioned before, I'm here to paint the playoff picture for you as it stands. Currently, we are 64.28571429% done with the regular season. So we've got 5 weeks left, and this is where the playoffs sit currently. Midwest Lone Wolf still holding down the top spot. Andy coming from the bottom to the top. Call him Drake. You can say he is number 2, both of which would have a bye should it go to playoffs right now.
And just to fill everybody in, like Lou mentioned, there's 5 weeks left in the regular season. Andy started off the year 0-2. Mm-hmm. He's 6-3 right now. So if you're kind of on the cusp of the playoff picture right now, you win 5 games in a row, you could be looking at a first-round bye. So don't be shaking off, any of these worries of, oh no, what am I going to do? Make a run right now.
That's true.
Join us at the top. Join me at the top.
Well, I won't be there, unfortunately.
Next year, Lou.
Hopefully. But as was noted in the quirky stats post that Tomo had posted before, apparently I was the luckiest team last year. And this year I'm the unluckiest team. Mm-hmm. Karma's a bitch.
It is.
That is how it is. Either way, we still have 9 of the 12 teams in contention for the playoffs. As I mentioned, Midwest and Scented Candles have the first buys right now, followed by your fantasy guru, Dude Man Bro, Chronic Blunt, Cat or One Man Offense, and Salivating Mutts bringing up the 5th and 6th spot. Stark Voltage, Doug Darling, he's right there. They have the same record as Salivating Mutts. I'm not sure if it's because he lost a head-to-head or if it's a points thing exactly right now, but they have the same record, but he's sitting at 7.
And on that note, you bring up the teams who got unlucky last year. You talk about overall points scored. Doug Darling, I've mentioned this before to you, kind sir. You were the reason I didn't make the playoffs last year because you edged me out in divisional record or points. I can't remember which because I kind of repressed that memory. But the point is, points matter. And down the stretch, those couple extra points that you try to squeeze out each week, that could be the difference between making the playoff picture or competing in the toilet bowl.
Very true, very true. And following up Stark Voltage, you have Unbearable Cut, Ricktard holding the 8th spot right there. Natural Born Spillers coming up and being in contention now at the 9th spot. They are only a game back from the playoffs right now. It's a tight race. It's a very tight race. Best of luck to everybody. And anybody who won't be making the playoffs, let's keep looking towards keepers. Let's keep looking towards next year. Next, we have for you the nail biter and the beatdown of Week 9. And, of course,
I'm going to be talking some more.
All right, so for the Week 9 nail biter and beatdown, we have a few teams here, 4 teams specifically. We've got Dude Man Bro, your 3rd place, and Fantasy Guru versus Midwest Lone Wolves. It was a big matchup in Week 9. Also happened to be the nail biter. It came down to a Monday night game. Mikey was down a little bit. He thought he had it in the bag. Aaron Rodgers goes down after scoring .9 points. 0.9 points for Aaron Rodgers. Seneca Wallace comes in. I thought he was dead. I don't know where he came from, but he was there. Ended up being a Bears victory, so go Bears on that one. But Mikey did still pull it out against Midwest Lone Wolves, giving them their second loss, beating him by 4.3 points. That's it. Biggest culprit for Midwest, Negative 16 from the Raiders defense. Who would have seen Nick Foles just come out and destroy and beast and 7 touchdown passes? Second time this year. Matching Peyton Manning in week 1, I believe it was. Maybe it was week 2. I don't know. Either way, he went off into beast mode. I'm pretty sure Michael Vick will not be in Philly next year. That was your nail biter. DMB, Dude Man Bro, coming across with the victory there, holding down the 3rd place spot right now. Now, the biggest beatdown, something you would not have seen coming. Playoff contender Ricky, unbearable cut, goes up against Suck My Ditka, Roy. Roy put the works on him. The complete beatdown. 84-point spread. All thanks to incredible play by his QBs, being Brady and Roethlisberger. Now, mind you, Brady hasn't been the Brady that you've wanted him to be and drafted him to be. I believe he was drafted 1st overall. 2nd overall, because Drew Brees went 1st, I remember now. Hasn't been performing as such. He's been averaging 17 points a game. All of a sudden comes out with 47.9. Well more than double his average in week 9. Helped contribute to his victory against Ricky, an unbearable cut. Ricky, of course, he had decent quarterback play with Flacco and Rivers both doing what they do, over 20 points. Eddie Lacy continues to beast for him. Tony Gonzalez had a good game with 17 points. The other half of his team didn't even break 4 points. All the other members of his team, that contributed to his loss right there. That contributed to his biggest beatdown. And we'll just kind of have to see where we go from here. As I mentioned before, Ricky is still a playoff contender, only 1 game back. We'll have to see what happens with the rest of the season. That was your nail biter and your beatdown for week 9. Coming at you again soon.
I'd like to thank you all for joining me out here. I'm currently in Northern Ireland, standing beside some of the most famous crop circles back behind these ears of corn. This is where I do a lot of my soul searching. So once again, welcome to my home. This year, consistency is something that has kind of fallen by the wayside. Wide receivers are the only position that have offered that. Early this year, you drafted guys like Calvin Johnson, A.J. Green, Des Bryant, with the hopes of them performing like top 5 wide receivers. Well, guess what? They have. They're all in the top 10 in targets. Brandon Marshall, Pierre Garçon, Andre Johnson. They're all getting it done the way you'd expect them to. But can the same be said for running backs? Well, outside of Alfred Morris, Marshawn Lynch, Adrian Peterson, there's a lot of running backs this year that have thoroughly disappointed. If I were to tell you that people you drafted in the first few rounds, like MJD and Ray Rice and Darren Sproles, were struggling, you'd probably be like, all right, yeah, I get that. Well, what if I told you that Ray Rice had less rushing yards than Alex Smith? No, that's not like a code name for another running back in the league. I'm talking about the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. He has more rushing yards than Ray Rice. It's kind of embarrassing. So, what are we learning from all this? Running backs, it's not as consistent as you'd like to see. Some of the guys you draft early don't perform well. Maybe they have a big game here, but then dud a few games. And which guy would you rather have? The one that scores 30 and then scores 3 2 weeks in a row? Or would you prefer the guy that scores 15 and then 15 and then 15? I know which one I'd take. This year, we've seen how you really need to plug and chug guys during the bye weeks and as we come down this stretch. And there's a lot of people who are struggling to fill that OP position during the bye weeks and with all the quarterbacks that have gotten hurt. So my advice to all of you, look at your matchups. Play the guys who you got a good gut feeling about. A few weeks ago, I mentioned a guy named Riley Cooper. Had good chemistry with Nick Foles. I think we talked about him. He had a decent game last week. Andy, how's Riley Cooper working out for you? There you go, buddy. Just something to keep in mind, you guys. Don't stick with the big name players because they're the familiar names. Don't play Darren Sproles because he's Darren Sproles. Or Ray Rice because he's Ray Rice. Go out and find the guys who are going to play well. Don't shake an 8-ball and say, oh, I think this guy's going to have a good game. Do some research. Don't you want to be a fantasy guru someday too? Join me out here in the wilderness. Soul search with me. I think you'd enjoy it. So maybe next time, one of you, if you prove worthy, can come out, sit right next to me, and enjoy nature at its finest. And then maybe have a shot at beating me this year in the championship.
And closing out episode 5 here for you, we decided to come on a bit of a safari here to the Serengeti, but we kind of thought that it was mean to go hunt lions and stuff, so we figured we'd get this zebra stoned instead.
It's the calmest zebra I've ever met, ever.
He really is a cool guy, and not racist at all. I promise. Look
No.
at him. No. Either way, thank you for watching the show. Thank you to all our sponsors, True Barbecue, Homewood Fingerboards, Funny Guys Media for bringing this to you, and of course the music brought to you by Workout Music.
Hey, they're going to be on WGN this coming Tuesday.
That's right, Midday News, right?
Yeah, Midday
and
News.
I also think they have a show coming up November 15th at the Metro Chicago.
That's right,
So,
they do.
Look into it, check out the Facebook page, go enjoy.
Grab tickets, rage. And next week, we're going to bring you the recaps, again, like we like to do, the beatdown, the nail biter, courtesy of Lou. And as we get closer to that playoff picture, we're going to kind of hone in, see which one of you guys are still in the hunt, or which one of you guys are laying down like this zebra right now.
Exactly.
So, see you next time.
Don't worry, no animals were harmed in the making of this video.
Alright, yeah, that's a wrap.
Great
Good
job.
guys. Good job.
Mostly me. I'm gonna take a lot of credit here today, guys, but you were there.
We were able to fill in. Great show.
Absolutely. One of our best.